Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another episode of Jazz Biz Buzz. Today we have with us Mr. Moeed, who's the co-founder of Muawin, which is a fintech, a fairly new fintech in Pakistan. And today we are going to be engaging in conversation with him.
Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam.
क्या हाल है आपके?
बिल्कुल खैरियत से. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Likewise, जी बिल्कुल. So let's start with a little bit of your professional background. Where did you graduate from? What was your career journey, and how did you land into this particular startup?
Great. So, graduate of LUMS, I did in accounting and finance. Soon after graduation, like every other graduate, it's your dream to be in an MNC. So I landed in one as well, but soon in 3-4 months, I realized I was not that person. I had that entrepreneur spirit in me. So I left that in like 3-4 months. I joined a startup in Dubai. I actually helped the other co-founder, Amar, helped build it, FinTech in B2B space. So 3-4 years, I was grinding into operations, tech, marketing, sales. I really understood how the new business is built from scratch, right? And that led me the confidence and idea, that there's a huge space in Pakistan, especially on the fintech side, and what can we do and where can we add value? And that's where Muawin was born, right?
So BNPL is not a new concept. It's been around for a while. Even there are some companies, some startups in Pakistan who have been introducing this concept, embedded lending and all of this. So what do you think is that you're doing different in this particular space and how you're taking the share of your pie?
Yes, BNPL is not fairly new. Around the world, on the consumer side, BNPL was the first one introducing for online shoppers for consumptive reasons, right? In Pakistan as well, there are a few entities who started on the consumer side. On the business and B2B side, Muawin is the first B2B fintech who is focusing on buy now, pay later for micro businesses. So in this particular space, Muawin was the first one to crack how we can offer, goods to all our customers on credit in the B2B space. That's fairly new. No one has done that.
No one has done that in Pakistan as yet.
No.
So how does it work? Do you get partnerships with the companies that are providing these services to the retailers or your end users, or do you get partnerships with the retailers and then you sort of deal only with them, or is this a tripartite kind of thing? How does it really work?
So the model is fairly simple. Ours is a very collaborative model. We're not working in silos. We understand that there are existing value chains in the market, in FMCG, supply chain, in the gig economy sector, in the agri sector, right? We want to embed ourselves within those ecosystems, so not to disturb the existing flow, and how we can add value and provide credit within that supply chain. So for example, for a retailer, we would partner up with a distribution existing, with a traditional one or with the B2B one. Now these are budding in the market. And through them, we will go to these customers and say, you're buying already the stuff from this distributor. The same goods, what if someone can offer you on the credit? Because right now, no one is offering them these goods on credit, right? So that's something very new for them. Similarly, in the gig economy sector, there are a few companies in the ride-hailing segment who are, offering these services to consumers. Through them, we have access to these drivers, we have access to their data, and we can make a fairly confident decision that how we can give them goods on credit in order for them to increase their liquidity and increase their business performance and ultimately, increase their profits.
Mm-hmm. So you've mentioned retail and then you have mentioned the ride-hailing kind of services as well. Is this what your business is at this point limited to? Are you expanding in other sectors and markets as well?
So we're not focused on a single vertical. If you talk about micro businesses or micro SMEs, retail is a big chunk of it. Gig economy is a big chunk of it, including the ride-hailing, including the food delivery sector. Agri is also a big segment. There's an individual farmer who is struggling to get inputs for his crops, and he's only going to get money after the crop season is out, right? Then there's a whole freelancer community. So we're not limited. These micro businesses are not limited to a few sectors. It's all across Pakistan, different verticals. You can see small industries, small manufacturers. All of them have a single problem. They do not have access to credit because they are too small for the existing formal financial networks. The process is such a big hassle for them. So if someone can come, provide them this service digitally, quick and conveniently, it's like a dream product for them.
So if I'm a retailer or any micro SME, my concern would be A, I have to make sure that my short-term goals are met, and B, I have to also think about expansion and increasing my business and my profitability at the end as well. So how is Muawin being that friend to these micro SMEs? How is it helping them create an area where they can flourish in their own businesses as well?
So When you talk about retailers or micro businesses, their predicament is very clear, and our philosophy is very clear that they understand, and a relationship is built on the trust that there is a lender out there who understands their exact core problems, who understands how they get their stuff, how they make money, and basically customizes product for them. So for a typical retailer, what's their biggest problem? He does not have enough cash in his till to buy products on spot. For example, if the Eid time comes and all these occasion comes, suddenly the supply has to be increased,
Yeah.
right? But all these goods are sold on cash basis right now. They do not have cash. They have access to Muawin. They can apply instantly. They have access to the credit limit through the same distribution from where they have been buying goods. They get additional goods without having to pay for the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? In that time, they get the goods, they rotate them, they make money again and again and again. At the end of the day, they pay us back along with our fee, and basically they have sustained through that period. And using our credit, he's basically done sales and he has earned a significant amount of profit for them, right? So it's basically how we can empower them run their businesses without having to compromise on their existing cash situation.
My concern usually when we're talking about this kind of a product or something that is novel, that is not yet established within Pakistan, is that when you're talking to these micro SMEs, when you're talking to retailers, किरियाने वाले और ये जो लोग हैं, इनका जो mindset होता है वो ये होता है कि या मैं credit लूँ और मैं अपना बिजनेस खड़ा कर लूँ और फिर मैं पे ऑफ करता रहूँ, या फिर उनका ये होता है कि यार मैंने कैश पे करना है, मैंने रिस्क नहीं लेना. तो ये एक माइंडसेट को चेंज करना, इवन दो इट इज़ प्रॉफिटेबल फॉर देम एंड दे कैन मल्टीप्लाई देयर सक्सेस बाय लीप्स एंड बाउंड्स, बट चेंजिंग दिस माइंडसेट, डू यू थिंक दैट इन योर 18 months of your existence you have seen that this mindset had changed, or do you think it was welcomed by them?
So the kind of product that we're offering, it's complete no-brainer for them, I would say. As you said, कि cash की option है या एक बड़ा loan लेने की option है if they're eligible, and then they could use it to expand their business. But again, that's a cash loan they could spend on other things. At the end of the day, the business might not get help, right? But on an ongoing basis, he knows he has to buy stuff. And on the working capital side, if he can get some kind of assistance, ठीक है? The reason this product doesn't exist in the market, but that doesn't mean that they do not have preference to buy on these goods, right? No one has offered to them yet, right? It's out there, the problem is out there, but no one is willing to fill this gap. The big financial institutions won't. Fintechs like us would have to solve this problem. It's a massive problem. I don't think us alone can solve this. We have to create more fintechs into this space who are tackling this problem head on, understanding what the exact core needs are, and designing customized products for them.
Absolutely. So, while I understand that fintechs have taken this space and they have really tried to empower the आम people, आम लोग जिनके लिए ये ज़रूरत है या जिनको इस तरह की funding की requirement है actually to become self-sustained. Do you think कि जो economic situation इस वक्त पाकिस्तान की prevalent है, इसके अंदर do you think कि कोई impact आपको नजर आया in your micro SMEs behaviors, or do you think that it is also going to impact the fintechs that are operating in Pakistan, जो कि अभी भी जिनका भी concept, as you said,
yes,
कि novel ही है.
बिल्कुल.
So
if you talk about the current situation now, again talking about Muawin's offering, cash has become more critical for them to keep to themselves, right? They want to sustain their businesses, they want to keep purchasing them to keep their shop working, but अब क्या हो गया है कि बेसिकली चीज़ें इन्फ्लेशन हो गई है, चीज़ें महंगी हो गई हैं, उनकी जो जितनी सेविंग्स होती थी या कितना कैश अवेलेबल ऑन हैंड होता था वो और स्क्वीज़ हो गया है, right? So all the more reasons to buy some things on the credit side. They make a lot of margin on these products, but initially किसी को उनकी help करके एक first step लेना है. Here are the goods. I know you have a strong business. I know you can run it. I know you can sell it. But what if I can be the first person to offer them कि ये goods लो, ये बेचो, पैसे कमाओ, and then pay us back.
So what are your plans for the future? Because you've just started and you've started taking the market and you've started partnerships and everything, and this is the product that you have at the moment.
Right.
But there are some products that I saw were coming soon as well. So what's the future? What does the future look like for you?
So both on the geographical side, I think we started off with Lahore and Punjab, expanded to Karachi through our partners. So एक तो geographical expansion है to reach out to as many customers as possible, right? Most of them won't be in tier 1 cities, right? You have to go to tier 2, tier 3 cities जहाँ पे banks भी नहीं हैं, ठीक है? The second one is on the product side. Again, as I said, कि vertical fix नहीं है. Retail is a huge market. Gig economy is a huge market, but agri is a huge market. But then, you have other segments as well. For example, there's a huge gap in the education space, right? There's a huge gap in the freelancing space. It's a big industry, freelancing, right? But no one is officially supporting them. How we can help them make more money and, get more dollars into Pakistan. Essentially, that is the problem right now we have. So not limited by verticals, not limited by business, products. Wherever these micro businesses or micro entrepreneurs are there, Moeed will be there to make them, empowered in their own business.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's our goal.
That's amazing. A little bit about your company's sustenance as well. There are certain government policies that support financial inclusion in
Right,
Pakistan.
right.
However, still we are lagging behind to some extent.
Right.
The targets that we had, we are still not reaching them as such.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the government's intervention required at this point in time to give some kind of platform to these kind of companies to expand and progress?
So as a regulated financial institution, especially, I think over time, over the last few years, the regulations have relaxed. They have empowered in a way, by making it, by making business doing easy, by allowing us to reach these customers easily. So what I would say over the last few years, some work has been done. But officially, especially in this, gray space, informal space, I think there's a lot to be done in terms of providing these fintechs or these startups a platform where they can get value. With basically they can focus on digitization. The government has a lot of access to the data as well, right? How we can leverage that? How we can leverage their basically reach to the customers in order to digitize them. I think at the end of the day, it's all about digitization play. As soon as you reach them, as soon as you understand their core problem, there's products are easy to find.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked about self-sustenance, then we talked about the government's intervention, and then we are there's a huge sector that the private sector is existing, and I think the ecosystem that exists helps the other companies. Like you are helping some businesses, I'm sure there are some
Right,
businesses
right.
who are supporting you as well.
Right.
Do you think that these partnerships are moving towards the right kind of digitalization in Pakistan? How are you benefiting from them?
So digitization, if you see the last few years, of course, starting from wallets to the new startups which are budding now, a lot of investment has come into Pakistan. A lot of startups are now focusing on the digitization of a lot of these verticals, especially in the retail space. However, the problem that I see is, it's all being done in a fragmented manner, right? Each one is trying to solve a problem on their own. A great value could come in if we could just collaborate. We could focus on what we are good at, collaborate with each other, and holistically provide combined value to the customers, right? So the customer doesn't have to deal with 6 different entities by for solving their problems. So that's where from day one our focus was, we don't want to get into everything, we don't want to do everything. If there's a value, if there's already a startup or there's already a company who is doing that, let's just collaborate with them. Provide them with the value. They value as well. For example, if their customers are making more purchases, they value as well. And if we can get data access from them, if we can get customer access from them, why don't we have to reach out on our own? So there's a great value in collaboration, which I think is a major point which is missing right now in the fintech, in the startup space, right? If they combine together, and together, if they solve the customer problems, I think only then, the whole digitization, the whole startup, in the fintech space makes sense, right? And that's why, even with Jazz, ours is a service business, we have to be, available to our customers. We have to reach out to them, right? And connectivity is a great, is a core critical thing for us. And that's where Jazz comes in. And not just on connectivity side, I think on the business digital solutions as well, we have to partner up to provide the best kind of, a digitization experience out to these customers in order to greatly benefit from the value.
All right. So thank you so much, Moeed. This is my last question to you, and I'm really glad that you came here today and engaged in conversation with us. It was a very fruitful discussion. I hope our viewers have also learned a thing or two from this particular interview. Thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Likewise. We will be back with another episode of Jazz Biz Buzz soon enough, so please stay tuned.
Jazz Business, designed to help you grow.